Welcome back. Today we are going to discuss last part of July month current affairs based questions. That is part 6. In this part 6 we are going to discuss 30 questions. These 30 questions comprises topics from subjects like polity, governance, environment, geography, economy, international relations. So we will be discussing these 6 topics based on July month current affairs. So let's take up questions. See the 61st question. Consider the following statements. Basic grants are used by the rural local bodies for location specific needs, including for salary or other establishment expenditure. Tied grants are used for basic services by rural local bodies. Why this is in news? Because the finance minister has released grants to the rural local bodies. Okay. And second one is, you should always remember that finance commission has released grants for rural local bodies around, recommended, actually not released, recommended, around 60,000 crores plus to the rural local bodies. This is the highest ever allocation made by the finance commission in any single year. In any single year. How much? Around 60,750 crores has been recommended. Grant in aid. Okay, this is what you should know about this current affairs. See why this question has been framed. Because UPSC has already asked about finance commission, article 280, who appoints finance commission chairman, members qualification, okay, who will remove finance commission chairman or members, reappointment. All these questions UPSC has asked. Now UPSC has become dynamic, right? Okay, so now it will ask, if it have to ask, definitely it will ask what are the grants present in the definitions of what are the grants present in the finance commission 15th recommendation. Because the rural local bodies is in news, you should know that for rural local bodies there are two type of grants given. One, basic grants. Two, tied grants. This is for the basic services. This is location specific grants for services. This does not include salaries and other establishments expenditure. It does not include salaries and other expenditure, establishment expenditure. So these two things you should know. This is basic grants and tied grants. So basic grants, tied grants. So what is the difference here? See, tied means we are saying it is general expenditure, basic service. Basic services means what it will include: sanitation, supply of drinking water, rainwater harvesting, water recycling, health, etc. Here basic grants. So what here it will include emergency services. In emergency services means emergency in nature. It should be made immediately, like quarantine, housing, etc. So we are saying that 15th Finance Commission will recommend grants, okay, to the rural local bodies. So who will distribute the grants to rural local bodies? It is the state government. From where state government will get money? Central government. In central government, who will release? That is finance minister. Who was the chairman of 15th Finance Commission? He is a very famous guy, N.K. Singh was the chairman of the 15th Finance Commission. It can be useful in mains also. Even if UPSC asks in prelims, you should remember this. So now the question is, 15th Finance Commission will recommend grants to the states, right? So what are the parameters for deciding which state should get how much amount? The parameter is population of that state and steps taken to control population. Next one is area of state. Next one is demographic of state. Next one is tax efforts. Next one is forest cover. Next one is income distance. Okay, for everything equal weightage is there or what? No. For population, if any state has the highest population, for population the percentage is 15%. For the people who control the population, for them is 12%. For area 15% weightage. For demography 12.5%. For tax efforts, who did better tax collection, 2.5% to reward them. Forest cover 10%. Who take care of forest conservation efforts, which state has taken it, for them 10%. The total weightage is 10%. According to them, according to their achievements, they will get this percentage. And income distance 45%. Okay, this is how the grants will be given to the states, by taking all this into consideration, and they will fix that, okay, UP will get 100 rupees, Bihar will get 80 rupees, Andhra Pradesh will get 1000 rupees. Like that they will decide. Finance Commission has recommended for the setting up of mitigation fund, and it has renamed National Disaster Responsive Fund as National Disaster Risk Management Fund, and State Disaster Responsive Fund as State Disaster Relief Management Fund. This mitigation fund will come under National Disaster Relief Management Fund and State Disaster Relief Management Fund. This is all about you should know, because conventional questions UPSC may not ask, because it has asked everything about Article 280, which deals with the Finance Commission. Now everybody knows about the Finance Commission, members of the Finance Commission, chairman, who appoints it, what is the removal, functions, everybody mugged up. Now they will ask on particular things. They may ask. This is a dynamic topics of Finance Commission. So basic grants and tied grants. We know the basic grants and tied grants. So answer is this one, because it has included. It will not include, it will exclude. Answer is B. Come to the 62nd. Consider the following statement regarding fuel cell electricity vehicle. See, fuel cell, UPSC's favorite topic. It has asked many times over the years, but in different ways it will ask about fuel cell. So you should be very much ready to answer this, because it is very much in news, because fuel cell has been using in vehicles now. So why they are using fuel cell? Because fuel cell will have byproducts as water vapor plus heat. Means what? Water vapor and heat means what? Absence of global warming gases, means zero emission. Can be achieved. What is a fuel for fuel cell electric vehicle? It's hydrogen. It is fuel, but to oxygen is needed to act as a oxidizer. When these two combines, it gives rise to O2 plus heat. So this is a byproduct. And electricity plus these things, these are byproduct. This is a main product. These fuel cell electric vehicle will have internal combustion engine, right? In engine there will be internal combustion, right? It will be follows the same mechanism as conventional normal engines. What mechanism is there? Same mechanism these vehicle also will have. The only difference between the conventional and the hydrogen fuel cell is there will not be any moving parts. In hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, no moving parts, whereas in conventional cars, traditional cars, there will be moving parts. Why they are using only hydrogen? Because hydrogen is widely available, so they are using hydrogen. And another benefit of fuel cell is what? No need of any charging, plug-in charging, because it uses hydrogen. Otherwise lithium batteries, what they need? They need charging facilities, infrastructure. To implement these fuel cell electric vehicle, NTPC and NIIF entered pact. Why I have said about these two organizations? Because UPSC has asked about these organization in 2017, I guess 17 or 18. It has asked directly, it has asked. Okay, this NIIF targeted corpus is actually 40,000 crores. Okay, but in 2017 or 18 prelims, UPSC made this 40,000 crores as 4 lakh crores. So if you eliminate this option, you will get answer for the 2017 and 18 exam. So now it will not ask about NIIF again. So if it have to, this is very much needed for India now because of growing pollution, and it is very good initiative also. Otherwise it may ask about NTPC. NTPC is Maharatna status company. You should definitely read the difference, what makes a company Maharatna, Navaratna, Mini Ratna. About these three things definitely you should read. Criterias are there to become Maharatna, Navaratna and Mini Ratna. So this is about the second question. So answer is the only byproduct of a fuel electric vehicle is water vapor. Wrong. Heat also byproduct. So this is wrong. Engines are similar to conventional internal combustion, but there are no moving parts in fuel cell. Correct. Fuel cell engine is correct. So answer is B. Come to the 63rd. Which of the following statement is are correct regarding National Biofarm Mission? Why I have asked about National Biofarm Mission? Can anyone guess suddenly? Now we are all talking about vaccine, right? Vaccine development. Okay, this vaccine development takes place under this mission. This mission was started when 2017 under Department of Biotechnology. And what are the objects to develop? Just now I said vaccines, biosimilars, medical devices and many other options, but these are the main objectives that it want to achieve this mission. Under this mission only India has launched Innovate in India. What is this? These are 3 I's. So this is known as I3. Objective is to promote entrepreneurship and indigenous manufacturing in biofarm sector. Okay, because this mission is very important, you should also know that from where the funding is coming. 50% will come from the World Bank as a loan. 50%. And it is implemented by whom? Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council. It is, what is it? It is public sector enterprise set up under Department of Biotechnology. This is under the Ministry of Science and Technology. This is what you should know about National Biofarm Mission. It is important just for because vaccine is very much in news. 50% fund will be contributed by the World Bank, correct. Under this mission the government has launched Innovate India program, I3, correct. What is the objective of I3? Manufacturing and entrepreneurship in biofarm. So answer is C. Come to the 64th question. Consider with reference to the word biomining, which of the following statement is correct? What is biomining and bioremediation? What is difference between these two? See, bioremediation means all these things are waste, okay, and it may contain all hazardous metals, chemical metals, whatever. So what you will do, you will drop in this waste some microorganisms, okay. These microorganisms, what it will do, it will break down these solid and solid hazardous solid waste into non-toxic waste. Through which process? Through aerobic process or anaerobic process. In any of these two ways it will break down, okay. This is known as bioremediation. Means breakdown means again it will be solid waste only, but toxicity level and hazardous level will be reduced drastically. So this bioremediation is used to break down the toxic and hazardous substance. This is the thing you should know about the bioremediation. What about now biomining? Mining means we all know, okay, digging the ground for material, minerals. For minerals we are digging, okay. That can be iron, coal, gold, copper, tin, whatever, aluminium, bauxite, whatever we are digging. This is mining. What about bio? Is a question. Is it a biological? Is this biological waste mining done by the manufacturing unit to recover gold, or is it usually used for new dump waste which segregate? It is wrong. And see, point is, if you see these type of questions, you may feel this is correct because okay, biological waste mining done by the manufacturing. No, bio mining means we are using microorganisms to extract metals from the biological waste. This is biomining. So here answer is C. So difference is what? In biomining, in bioremediation, both we are using. Here also microorganism we are using, here also microorganism we are using, but here to extract metals, here to break down toxic and hazardous solid waste. Okay, after breaking down again it will become solid waste only. Here to extract metals. This is the major difference that you should know. That's it. Answer is C. See, these dumping sites we know, right? Here only we do biomining. Okay, biomining where we will do? In very old dumping sites. Okay, these dumping sites is known as what? Is also known as legacy waste. If tomorrow UPSC, instead of using dumping sites, if it uses legacy waste, you should not get confused. What is this legacy waste? Because UPSC has this habit of using new names. to confuse people. So legacy waste is nothing but dumping sites. Okay, these biomining especially is used in world dumping sites. World dumping sites means what? Where there won't be any segregation between wet and dry. Wet and dry, wet and dry, wet and dry will be mixed. There is no segregation at all. Here we will use biomining. Biomining is very much cost effective, and it will decrease the volume of waste by 40% through biological decomposition. That's it, right? Because microorganisms will extract all the metals, so 40% of waste we will reduce. So come to the 65th question. It is very important because Consumer Protection Act has been enforced in July 2020. So here you should know that what are the changes made compared to the previous Consumer Protection Act. What is the previous Consumer Protection Act? Is 1986. At present 2020. Definitely difference will be there. What are the difference? See, 1986 में 2019 में. Okay, it came into enforcement. It was enforced in 2020 July. Okay, difference what is this? There is no separate regulator. Okay, but here Central Consumer Protection Authority has been established as a regulator. Okay, here consumers can file a case. See, if you are buying a product in Delhi and your house is in Kanpur, okay, you will buy the product and go back to the Kanpur and you stay here, but the product is defective. You will find out that the product is defective. If you want to file a case, you have to go back to the Delhi and file a case, because the producer is in Delhi, not in Kanpur. But here it's not like that. You buy in Delhi, your house is in Kanyakumari in Tamil Nadu, okay, then you can file a case in Tamil Nadu itself, in Kanyakumari itself. You no need to go back to Delhi. This is a major change that the bill has made. What is the second major change? If you bought a product like say mobile phone, okay, suddenly when you are charging mobile phone will be blast. Okay, and in this blast you will lose your fingers. Okay, then you have to file a case and ask for the compensation you have to ask. But these things you can do only in civil court, not in the consumer court. Okay, though it is a consumer issue, you have to deal in civil courts, but here it's not like that. Here the right has given to file a case in consumer court itself. So this is the three things that you should know. Apart from these three things, there are other changes. That fourth one, there are district consumer courts, right? Here, if these district consumer court have to take cases, they can take up to worth of 20 lakhs. If one case worth 20 lakhs or below, then it will go to district consumer court. If it is more than 20 lakhs but less than 1 crore, then these cases will file under State Consumer Protection Act, Consumer Court. and if it is more than 1 crore, then national level. You will have to file at the national level. But these criteria has been changed now. What is that? For district now it became up to 1 crore, means less than or less than, up to 1 crore means less than or equal to 1 crore. For state 1 crore, more than 1 crore to less than or equal to 10 crores. And for national more than 10 crores. The case what should be more than 10 crores. What is this national court name? National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. This is established under Consumer Protection Act 1986. Who will be the chairman of this? It is a retired judge of Supreme Court. This is what you should know about National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. And now another fifth difference is, here court can refer for the settlement through mediation. Okay, through mediation court can refer, you can settle this issue through mediation, like that. Mediation, I guess you know what is mediation. So here there is no such legal provisions. So these are the major things you should know. Now you may ask, why you are talking about 1986 and 2019 bill, why you are comparing? I am comparing because in 2020 mains UPSC has asked environment impact assessment and environment impact assessment drafted. Okay, this is past one and this is the present one. They have asked compare and write in 2020 mains. Like that they may ask in mains also or in prelims also, they can ask anything, right? So you should better prepare for everything. So this is what you should know, that's it. And come to options. For the first time it is established the separate regulator, correct? Central Consumer Protection Authority. UPSC will definitely not ask about the functions of it. That's why I am not discussing. Otherwise, if you want me to discuss also, I am ready to say. It conducts investigation in violations of consumer rights. First one. Next one is, it will order to recall unsafe goods and services. Third one is, imposes penalties on manufacturers or publishers or advertisers, etc. Like this, these are the functions of the Central Consumer Protection Authority. For the first time, it recognized the compensation for the harm caused by the correct. And first time the government courts got power to settle through mediation, correct? So answer is D. See, for the first time means how you can say this is first time or second time or third time, until unless you know what is there, what is present in the 1986. Otherwise you will never know, right? So that's why I have given you the difference between 1986 and 2019. Come to the 66th question. With reference to dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane DDT, which of the following statement is correct? Why I have asked about DDT, I will tell you that later on. First let's discuss about DDT. See, DDT is a chemical substance which is colorless, tasteless and odorless. Okay, and this is a substance which is produced globally by only one industry, that is Hindustan Insecticide Limited, which works under the Ministry of Chemicals in India. Why it is only India manufactures? Because these DDT is banned by the Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants. Persistent organic pollutants means what? They will remain in the environment for very long time and will degrade the entire environment. This Stockholm Convention banned DDT in agriculture usage. But why Indian government is manufacturing this? Because DDT is used to control malaria disease infection. Okay, these DDT whatever manufactured in India will India exports to the malaria infected countries. So why it is in use now? Because India exported to the South Africa, because South Africa is suffering from the malaria spread. Okay, this is all about the DDT. So this malaria is in news. So many times I'm saying right. So I have to even say that it is caused by what? It is caused by parasite. Plasmodium parasite. That's it. These things you should know. Now come, Hindustan Insecticide Limited is a solo manufacturer of DDT globally. Correct? Colorless correct, tasteless correct, odorless crystalline correct. Banned the use of DDT in agriculture correct. It is used to control malaria correct. So answer is D. Which of the following is are correctly matched? I'll tell you why I have asked this question. Okay, but you should know here one thing, that is operational. One second. Okay, this is Indian map. So here you should know that where are the operational nuclear power plants are. Here this is known as what? Narora nuclear power plant. Where it is? It is in UP. Here Rajasthan nuclear power plant. This is known as what? Rawabata power plant. Okay. Here, what is this power plant? Kakrapur. This is actually news now. And here, what is this power plant? Tarapur. Here, what is this power plant? Kaiga. Here, Kundankulam. This is a map pointing asked in geography, optional in 2020. Okay, here, what is here? Kalpakam. Okay, these are the 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the 7 operational nuclear power plants that you should know. You should always remember. If UPSC asks to arrange from north to south, you should arrange. If it asks like this in match the following way, then you should be in a position to answer it. You should not know more than this now. So Kakrapar power plant, Odisha, sorry, Gujarat. This is in Uttar Pradesh. Kaiga in Maharashtra or what? No. Where it is? It is here, Karnataka. So answer is, you eliminate this. Answer is B. But why it is in news? Because this Kakrapar, where it is? It is in Gujarat. This Kakrapar has attained its first criticality. What is this criticality? It is a first step towards the power production. Means it has the fission release sufficient number of neutrons to sustain the reactions and to produce the heat. That heat will move the turbine, and that this turbine will give you electricity. It has attained the criticality. That's it. This is for this thing, it is in news. And because fission is in news, you should know about the fusion also. What is this fission? One will break down into two or more parts. Okay, and these will again break down into two or more. Between this one and this one, like this chain reaction will go on in fission. This thing, how fusion is two or more will collide to form one, then energy will release. Okay, here attachment happens, here detachment happens. That you should remember. That's it. This is the difference between these two things. So for here the answer is B. Come to the 68th question. Consider the following statement regarding a lunar lake. It is a saline and alkaline lake. This is a fact you should remember. It is present in the Maharashtra. Okay, it is the only lake which has been created due to meteorite. Okay, but whole point is you should know that it is inside the Deccan Plateau. But why this is in news? Because it is a salt lake, right? It is a salt lake, but suddenly this lake has turned red, completely red it became. Then why it has become red? Because of halophilic microbes, which will thrive in saline lakes. When the salinity increases, this microbe activity increases, this turns into red. When again rainfall comes, when the fresh water mixes with this water, then it will come back to the normal position. Like this. That's why it is in news. So come to the 69 question. Which of the following gases will be emitted by the stubble burning? Okay, it is very much in news. We all know that. Why we all know that? Because here Punjab, here Haryana, okay, here Delhi, and eastern Uttar Pradesh. What happened here? Stubble burning means crops will be burned by the Punjab and Haryana, and these smoke, whatever the pollution happens in Punjab and Haryana, here from here western disturbance winds will be moving into India. These winds carries all the particles and comes here in Delhi and settle down in Delhi. You may ask why it will settle down here, it may move on. No, it will not move on, because from here again winds will be coming on. Okay, so this will get clash here, this will get clash here, it will reside here only. So Delhi is experiencing lot of smog. Smog is fog plus pollutants. It is smog. Okay, it is becoming very dangerous to the health. That's why it is in news. Okay, it contributes a lot to the Delhi pollution. Okay, that's why Arvind Kejriwal is asking Punjab and Haryana and other state CMs not to asking their CMs to ask their farmers not to fire the stubbles. Okay, and what it will eliminate what? Carbon monoxide, we all know. Okay, so 3 2 2 2 2 is there everywhere, so you should know what is methane also it will eliminate. So 1 and 2 3, whether you know this thing or not doesn't matter, definitely you should know methane, because stubble means what? It's a crops, right? Okay, crops, sticks or whatever the residues, so definitely they contain methane element also. When you burn them, methane will be released. So 70, question number 70. The government has taken recent steps regarding the public procurement. What is this public procurement? Means this central public sector units are there, right, or state public sector units are there. If they want to procure some raw materials or something, okay, they can buy from anywhere, but there are some restrictions imposed by the government now. What are those restrictions? For public procurement for only the bidder of the country that shares with India. Okay, restriction imposed. Yes, this is correct. Okay, and the government, why it has imposed? Because of China, because we don't buy much from Nepal, Afghanistan, Bhutan or Bangladesh. Okay, China is the biggest economy. China, we fought. What happened in July? Before this is July current affairs, right? What happened in May and June? May and June in Galwan Valley, we had a standoff. Okay, that's why we have taken this initiative to restrict China's investment in India or business in India. Okay, so this is correct. This thing you should know. The government has invoked the provisions of Article 257 of the Constitution to implement this order for all the public procurement. Means what? Article 257, state governments should listen now, or under Article 257 state governments definitely should listen. Okay, and if the state fails to compel with any direction given by the center under article, will lead to the state emergency. Means what? President rule will come. This is also correct. So answer is D. Why I have framed this question? Because you might have read about this in current affairs. If you read any current affair magazine, you may find. But what about these 2 points? government invoked the provisions of Article 257 of the Constitution. It really did in examination. You may think wrong, because why it will invoke these provision, which is very serious provision, which makes states to compel what to procure, what to not procure. So all these things we may think in examination. So that's why I have asked I kept this option here. And when you know about the Article 257, you will come to know that if state governments don't listen to the center, then the presidential rule will come. The Article 356. To read about this article, you should read the chapter name called Center and State Relations. I have fourth edition. In that it is I guess 14th chapter, I guess. So now for this answer is D. Here you should understand one thing. Public procurement means state, central public sector units or state public sector units. They have their rights to buy from anywhere, with anyone. But we all know that corruption may take place, and some big industrial units may influence these industries and make them to buy from these industries. But when they influence, what happens? MSME sector will be impacted a lot, because these MSME sector will not get any business. Okay, they will get closed. If these MSME sector get closed, this MSME sector contribute to the 40% of GDP, to the GDP contribution, and 45% it contributes to the exports. 124 million people are working in MSME sector. So to protect these, government came up with the public procurement policy for MSME. Okay, order 2018. It made mandatory for every central minister PSUs of annual target of whatever they are procuring. If they are procuring for 100 rupees, 25 rupees they should procure from the MSME. Okay, means micro and small enterprises. 25%. In these 25% also, 4% in this 25%, in this 25 rupees, if out of 100 rupees, 4% should come from the SC or ST MSE enterprises, and 3% should come from the women enterprises. Okay, and to regulate whether these people are following this or not, to bring the transparency among these central and state, government has launched government e-market. So they have to procure from this government e-market only. Okay, so that government can monitor who is procuring from the MSME sector, who is not. And now defense acquisition procedure for 2020 also came up. It proposed that increasing indigenous content, okay, by about 10% to support Make in India campaign. So this is all about the public procurement now. These 10 questions itself took me almost 1 hour, so I am stopping here now. Next 20 questions I will discuss in next video, because these are very lengthy questions, right? That's why it took, and very important questions also for both prelims and mains. Okay, so tomorrow I'll try to cover up remaining 20 questions and we'll wind up with 90 questions and July current affairs will be over. 90 topics, 90 questions means 90 very important, very important topics we have covered. We will be covering. Tomorrow I will tell you regarding what we have covered and all. For today you can watch till 10. Okay. Thank you.